Hello and welcome everyone to episode 73 of One Piece at a Time, the One Piece read-through podcast where we read and discuss 5 chapters of the One Piece manga each and every week. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and I'm joined by my wonderful co-host and freelance letterer at Shonen Jump, Brandon Bovia. How you doing, Brandon?
How's it going? I'm, of course, Brandon Bovia, letterer of manga like Dragon Ball Super Kaiju number 8 and a whole bunch more. There was a work thing. Oh, no. I was like, there was something I wanted to mention on the show, but I forgot what it was. I think I was just going to say that I guess in terms of like time capsule stuff, we just got word that the manga is going on break for a month, basically, so that Oda can get some eye surgery done.
I have this feeling, like, I don't know if I want it to happen or not, but I just have this feeling we're eventually going to catch up and it still won't be done.
I think that is a possibility.
I don't know what to do in that case, Like,
yeah, like would this turn into like a not even monthly show, because we really, like, best case scenario, because Oda already, ever since like a few arcs ago, he normally does like 3 on 1 off now.
Yeah.
So in order to cover 5 chapters, it would be like the episodes of this podcast would release like, I don't know, once like every month and a half or so.
Yeah, we'd have to take a look at some of the other One Piece media or something like that and see what we can do. It's weird.
There's things out there. Yeah, I think there'll still be stuff for us to cover to an extent, but yeah, I definitely we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Very much so. Let's be honest, that's a few years off.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, fortunately, we're in the personally, it's getting better and better reading this, but it's getting worse and worse for the crew. Yeah. Oh boy.
Just yeah, God, we'll get into it, but God, the tone has just shifted so dramatically. Like, there's funny stuff happening, like there's humor, but the situations are just dark.
Yeah, we've never seen them on the back foot like this ever. Yeah, like I'm thinking of every arc, and it's never been this dire.
Yeah, I think because it is so personal, as we've talked about, and so kind of like specifically targeted towards the Straw Hats as a crew, as opposed to them just kind of like getting involved in some shenanigans. Like they're involved in some shenanigans here, but it's also like, kind of everybody's against them as people.
Yeah, it's not like Alabasta where it's like ticking clock as to try to stop Alabasta. It's to try to stop Crocodile and save the country. Or Skypiea, where it's literally apocalypse, where, everybody's going to die, but it's also one of those things where we know if Luffy can reach Enel or Neru, we're good. This is just like, God, what do they do? Just everything keeps falling apart for them. Like, yeah, that's the thing, is the Straw Hats all themselves always seem strong in those situations. Now, not so much.
Yeah, we'll see how they try to dig themselves out eventually, but we got a deeper hole to dig for now. Much like our cover story.
That's a wonderful that's a transition. As we hit chapter 336, Luffy versus Franky, and yes, we've defeated the forest boss and we left him in charge of the island, and the earth boss is continuing to dig. So, okay, I
still don't understand how the helmet works. Like, if they're just like, how much room is in the, you know what, never mind.
Exactly. Like, there's a little seats there just in front of his forehead, I guess. I don't know. It's not like they have a great view. It's just blackness in front of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's no light, I'm sure.
So, okay. At least things are happening. I'll take that.
Yeah. Yep.
But into the chapter itself, we have this confrontation between Luffy and Franky as they have finally met. And we got a reveal of what Franky looks like. And, Franky is definitely one for presentation, where he spots Luffy and is, you're causing trouble for me, bro. And he starts doing like these dance moves. And I love how he has the 2 girls with him, always mimicking what he's doing.
Yeah, they're always synchronized. It's so good.
It's just so odd, but I love it. And he's basically just saying, you destroyed my house, you beat up my boys, I can't forgive you, I'm just too angry. And Nami immediately shouts out, hey, where'd our money go? Oh, spend it. All of it. All gone. Of course.
Yeah, good to have that answered.
Yep. Oof. You guys probably stole it anyway, so whatever. And Luffy's like, I don't care about that. I want to kick your butt.
Yeah, it's personal. Not about the money anymore.
Yeah. And it's like, all right, Franky's about to run amok, and everybody's like, oh, God, get away. and he starts breathing in. And I love that even during the attacks, the girls follow him because he starts breathing out fire.
Yeah, and of course they're not breathing out fire, but they're always posed in secret in sync with them. It's so good.
I love it, and
that's commitment to the bit.
The fire hits, and they're just like, "What the heck?" Yeah. And he's like, "Does he have a devil fruit?" And they're like, "Well, he just jumped into the water, so if he did, well, he's gone." Whatever.
Yeah. And then he just shoryukens right under the boat.
Yeah,
like, oh, he can't swim.
Yeah, sends them both flying. Immediately declares, "I didn't eat a devil fruit. I know about your powers." And all of a sudden, does this thing called the strong right, which sends out his fist with a chain attached called the strong right. Knocks Luffy straight into a wall.
I mean, it's basically a rocket punch.
Pretty much, just with a nice self-retrieving feature. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm a cyborg."
Yeah.
That's a cool reveal. I'm sorry.
It is an extremely cool reveal.
Like, you're so used to devil fruit powers or just strong guys. Never would have imagined a cyborg from this guy other than his nose.
I think what I love about it is that it calls into question just kind of like, when the hell are we?
That is very true. We have very old ships, but somehow up-to-date technology, but also the technology, like, it is kind of old-fashioned. Like, it's not like the cyborg that we're typically used to.
Yeah, it feels he's a very analog cyborg almost. Like, I mean, the way that, like, he doesn't have like an actual rocket punch because that would be ridiculous, and it's like his fist is still attached to a chain, but you're still dealing with a guy who can like detach his arm from itself.
Yeah, and he has that full like flexibility with his fingers and whatnot. So, okay, that's something.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, just like, all right.
It makes Franky definitely seemed like more of a threat than you would have otherwise thought because we took down his gang so easily. So it's like, whatever. Yeah.
And even Iceberg warned him, it's like, don't, his flunkies are one thing, but Franky himself is quite powerful.
True indeed. Speaking of Iceberg, we go back over to the Galley-La head office, where Lucci confirms through Hattori, still doing that talking thing, Nico Robin is confirmed to be a member of the Straw Hat gang, and they're on the island. So it seems like the Straw Hats, for whatever reason, are the ones that attempted to kill him just because they couldn't fix their ship. That's their interpretation of it.
Yeah, which is, I mean, I guess... I at first blush, I would think like, wow, that's kind of an extreme reaction to jump to. But also, like, when you think about the pirates who they were first dealing with when Luffy and Co. got to Dock 1, where it was like, those pirates were like, we're just not going to pay. So I guess compared to like the typical pirates that they deal with, like, yeah, I could see them jumping to that conclusion. That, like,
they deal with pirates.
They're mad.
Some of them trying to get out of it, and it all takes it down. So it doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility. And the news spreads, the wanted posters are revealed, and the entire time is mobilized. It's like, all right, we're not letting these guys escape Water 7. We are taking them down. It's like, oh no.
Suddenly Water 7's most wanted.
And then that's when Tilestone comes in, screaming like crazy as Paulie knocks him out. But he's like, hey, Franky and Luffy are actually fighting at Dock 1. The shipyard's a complete mess. And they're just like, geez, he has the gall to show himself after that. And meanwhile, Iceberg's like, I don't think it's because I turned them down. They must have been after what I've been hiding. So do they also have connections to the government, or are they after it on their own? And it's like, what is he hiding?
Iceberg kind of, what is he hiding? But I do like how he's kind of piecing it together. Or it's at least like the gears are turning in his head, and he's like, no, there's no way. It wouldn't be for that.
Yeah.
But, also like would they be whatever, for whatever reason the government wants it, like, what connection would that have with the Straw Hats? So it's interesting. Yeah, it just so many mysteries piling on each other.
Mm-hmm. And Khalifa is just like, rest. I'm going to stay by your side. And we go back to the fight, and holy crap, the Dock 1 is getting destroyed. The crane gear gets knocked down, and they're just like, what kind of fight is this?
I'm gonna assume Franky did that too. I don't know I don't think we see how he did, but also just
I think later they did say that it was because of him.
yeah, good God.
But yeah, we got Nami cheering on Luffy. We got the other girls cheering on Franky. And man, Luffy's had it rough. Just fight after fight.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Luffy's ready to beat him up, and Franky's like, you won't have any effect on me. And he reveals that he has a gun in his hand, basically.
Yeah. I feel like this is just Franky is an amalgamation of just like every cool Japanese robot.
Yeah, I think it's just like, what does Oda think is cool? He can do that.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it comes down to.
He's basically he's like a 6-foot Mazinger, basically.
There you go.
Yeah. He's just a super robot.
But between the whip, the gum whip, and the thing that Franky does, both of them get knocked aside. Luffy's standing up, and here's Galley-La.
Yeah.
And they do not look happy. Like, it's amazing how Kaku in particular can look very threatening now.
Yeah. Even with the silly square nose, you're just like, oh boy.
Yeah.
And we've already seen what they can do, so.
Mm-hmm. And Luffy's like, what the heck? Franky's like, what the heck? And everybody else is cheering. So,
yeah.
Oh boy.
Things just got a lot more complicated.
Yep, indeed. God, that introduction for Franky is really great.
It's great, yeah. It's cool seeing him, just kind of what he can do.
But yeah, let's get to chapter 337, Protectors of the City of Water, where I love to know where Gadatsu landed, because they came up from digging and found their way into Alabasta, because there's, what is it, Kozu? Koza.
Yeah, he's just hanging out.
Yeah, just doing what you do. It's like, well, I'm glad the Oasis is doing a lot better. That's nice, but how far did they freaking travel?
Yeah, so that they came up from, like, obviously they must have hit water and I guess came up somehow. I don't know.
I mean, they dug into the earth, dug under the ocean, presumably.
Yeah.
And then came up under. I don't think that's possible. So wherever Gadatsu landed is somehow connected to Alabasta, because we never saw the whole of Alabasta, and we don't know how far away Jaya is from Alabasta.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, I guess that could be. I could see that reasonably happening.
I guess
like, they're probably not that far. They're not close, but
yeah, I have no idea. Not a clue on that one. I need some geography for that one.
It's a bit silly, but it's cool to see Alabasta again, and it's cool, like, hey, there's water here now.
Yeah. I mean, there's also the fact that, oh God, characters I care about.
Yes, that too. I was like, hey, all right.
And I wasn't even the biggest fan of Koza. Just like, I actually have a feeling about you.
Exactly. You are somebody else.
Mm-hmm. And well, into the chapter itself, we have a standoff. We got Franky.
Oh, yeah.
We got Luffy. And we got the Galley-La all standing side by side. It's like, oh, geez.
You could kind of hear, like, the Western music kind of in the background. Just,
Oh, for sure.
Like a little, what are those? Tumbleweeds. Just.
Except it's pieces of the crane. Because I love how Oda showed us how spectacular this place looked when he first introduced it. And now it's just a complete wreck.
Yeah. I sort of remember this happening, but I've completely forgot just how messed up it gets, and just like what that says about like kind of the power level that like Franky in particular is operating on here.
Oh yeah, and just showing like they've definitely hurt the Carpenter's pride at this point. They are upset, and Nami's like, "Oh, cool, they'll be on our side because of what he's been doing."
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, and Franky's like, "Hey, I'm dealing with this kid. Go away. I don't want to. I don't want to do this. I don't want to deal with you." And they're just like, "Hey, why'd you destroy our stuff?" And Paulie's like, "No. Forget about Franky. We have some important business to talk about, Luffy." And it's like, why are you showing your face? He's like, what? Why? We heard about the old guy and all that. And Luffy's just confused. And Franky's like, they mess with the Franky family and Galley-La. Man, you just try to hurt everything you touch. And Luffy's like, I didn't do anything.
You're right.
What is everybody talking about? I did nothing.
These are kind of like some of my favorite situations, just like in stories in general, where you kind of have like kind of three different character factions all kind of playing off of each other, where they all have different motivations and are all kind of, they're all kind of at each other's throats, kind of literally, as we'll see here with Paulie.
Yeah,
I'm on fire today,
man. You really are. It's impressive. You're feeling it in the same way as Franky.
Yeah.
No, you're right, and the nice little complication here is that Luffy's like, we're cool, like with the Galley-La.
Right, yeah.
I don't need to
you guys
fight
are the homies. What's going on?
Yeah, and instead Paulie answers with his rope action, a half knot right around Luffy's throat, which looks so painful.
Yeah.
Just slams him into some boards, and Franky's immediately like, hey, that's my fight. I got a score to settle. Stay out of it. And immediately all the Galley-La Company guys are just ready to go. It's like,
yeah. Well,
oh no!
God, this is such an interesting twist on a fight, just because. I mean, it's basically like what with the Galley-La guys, like it's like 5-on-1. They're all going after Luffy, and then Franky's over here like, hello.
It's like, you listen to me here, and Nami's freaking out. I was like, why are they fighting us now? And Luffy's getting shot. He's getting kicked. Franky's, as you said, is like, why isn't anybody paying attention to me? So he starts shooting at him because he's like, the kid's mine. So he ends up in a fight with Kaku.
Is that the guy with like the hair pointing out? Is that Lulu, right?
Lulu, yes.
Yeah, I do love like among the panels where he's like trying to shoot at Luffy and then he kicks him, like the hair goes on to the other side.
Yeah, it's always changing. That's a great detail. Yeah. I love how Oda can screw up with the placement and be like, no, I got an excuse.
Yeah, no, that's not a mistake.
And Luffy's just getting both of them kind of getting manhandled because Franky's aiming at Kaku and Tilestone smacks him across with a piece of like lumber, knocking him away, and Kaku kind of finishes him off and sends him into the ground. It's like, my God.
It's cool seeing like an acrobat like Kaku fight. It kind of reminds me of what's his face from movie 4.
Oh yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it's just it's an unusual fighting style for One Piece, at least from what we've seen so far.
Yeah, it tends to be a bit more brawlish or devil fruit.
Yeah,
but we get this fight between sort of showdown between Luffy and Lucci, and he's definitely showing his finger stuff again that we saw him like grip into the ground. And Lucci looks dead serious with this and actually knocks Luffy back. These guys are strong.
I forgot to point it out, but there's a panel a couple of pages ago where like all the Galley-La guys are getting ready to fight, and you see the pigeon just like in like a kung fu pose.
Yeah, Tori's great in all these.
Yeah,
I like this because it really gives you the sense that all of these guys are as strong as Luffy. Maybe not, or maybe not. Maybe just a little less strong, but because there's so many of them, it is tough for him to keep up.
Yep.
It also has the whole thing of he doesn't actually want to fight them because it's like, why we have no reason to fight.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, and here we see now, like kind of oh god, Paulie. Sorry, God, there's so many names.
Yeah,
just coming out and saying it like kind of pointing the finger literally. Like you guys tried to kill Iceberg.
Yeah, and Franky's like, wait, what? And Nami's like, hey, why would we do something like that? And they're like, yeah, no. After the mayor came to, he said there were 2 assassins, and one of them was Nico Robin. And Luffy's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And that, of course, reveals to all of the crowd that they're the culprits of Iceberg. And it's like, yeah, we're not letting you go free. It's we got to take care of this. And Franky immediately asks, like, hey, is Iceberg dead? And they're like, nope, he's not dead, but we're doing this so we can stop them from attempting again. So, yeah, we need to take them down. And Kaku's immediately like, throws one of his things, cuts Luffy's cheek. And again, looks weirdly threatening for a guy with that kind of nose. It's like, dead or alive, do you know what it means to be wanted?
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Nobody cares what happens to you. The laws don't protect you. And Luffy's like, yeah, I get that, but you don't know Robin. Stop telling lies about her. So let us talk to Iceberg and clear this up.
I love that that's what he's concerned about the most.
Yeah. That is my shipmate. She would not do that. Stop lying.
And I mean, it makes sense. Of course, he's, Luffy wants to see Iceberg to try to clear the air, but like there's no way.
No, nobody's going to let that happen. And it just becomes chaos here where the people are cheering like, yeah, tie him up, take him, kill him. They tried to kill Iceberg. Somebody immediately like, Nami was with Luffy. I'm going to grab a hold of her and make sure she doesn't get away. And it's just like, yeah, the news is spreading. You've got nowhere to run. We're going to kill you.
Yeah. It's fascinating how quickly like they just kind of went to public enemy number one.
And it's such an interesting turn because usually they become decent friends with the towns they join or they come with. There's usually a little bit of a misunderstanding and it's cool. But here they were cool and then they're like, no, we're going to kill you now because you messed with us. And sometimes they get chased off.
It's such a different vibe because again, like once they got to Water 7, they're like, oh, you're pirates. Oh, that's cool. But then it's like, oh, you tried to mess with our hero and like now, we want your head on a pike.
Yeah, pretty much. And we finally see Robin as she's looking over the paper and hearing them, the town basically declare, find the Straw Hats, hang every one of them. And it's like, oh no.
I had a thought thinking about Robin here. Well, wow. First time seeing her on screen in a while, but also there was that shot of the newspaper where it was like the only Straw Hats with bounties are Luffy, Zoro, and Robin. Mm-hmm. And the picture of Robin is so like outdated, because it's of her from a child, so like she can just walk around, kind of scot-free.
Yeah, it just painted a target on Luffy and Zoro's back, and the others if they're hanging out with them. So it's a tricky situation. It is not good.
Yeah, things are continuing to spiral from bad to worse.
Yes, it is. But let's see how it keeps getting worse with chapter 338, Crude event. And, hey, we got to meet Koza's, it turns out that Goro here is Koza's uncle and Toto's little brother.
Wow, what a
small world.
What a turn of, small world. What a turn of events. But
yeah,
it's nice to see Koza and Toto again.
Yeah.
That has to be like, oh, and not, it makes me care about something.
Yeah, it just took, 20 volumes.
Yeah.
Again, at least we're getting something interesting last time. And now we're finally getting maybe a plot or at least seeing other characters, which, hey, I'll take.
Yeah. Which is kind of, I feel like, an underrated aspect of the cover stories. It's just like, Gadatu's kind of a boring and bad character, but like using it as an opportunity to like kind of see old characters and see like what old locations are up to is cool.
Yeah, absolutely. That's some of the best parts of these cover stories. But into the chapter itself, I just love this. I love how Sanji and Chopper are screaming at each other about Aqua Laguna coming and what it's going to be like at each other. Like, why? And then you see where they're at, where they're next to the Mary, and then they run away.
Yeah.
And Usopp's like, wait, what were they saying about a high tide? It's getting strong. It's cute.
Adorable. Yeah, that's their way of warning Usopp that they still care. Oh, my heart.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
But after that feel good moment, it's back to them people trying to basically capture Nami and capture Luffy, and they're still saying, "Hey, cut it out. We haven't done anything." And they're just like, "Yeah, you keep claiming that, but you attacked our boss. We don't care. You're dying."
Man, and it's just like. It's one thing that just seeing Luffy I don't know if we've ever seen him in just like a pure 5v1 against like characters who are all just like roughly the same level as him. Yeah.
And the teamwork is pretty incredible where Paulie grabs a hold of his arm. Kaku uses his, I don't even know what they are. I forget what
they're like throwing knives almost.
Yeah, almost throwing knives, but I think it's like wood cutting things, like you chip away the wood. That sort of thing. I forget what they're called. And has to dodge those. And Luffy's still like, I don't want to fight you. Meanwhile, all their others are like, okay, pistols don't work. Bring out the saws.
Yeah, Lulu's back in the just literal saws.
And the giant like tree cutting one that Lucci's holding, and I can't even tell what Tilestone's holding.
Oh, it looks like a cannon, or yeah, because he just shoots a big old blast.
Oh yeah, he does. He's just holding a giant cannon. But yeah, fires it at Luffy, and he's able to jump away, but immediately Lucci's there to cut the thing and send it crashing, forcing Luffy to just dodge everyone until Kaku's the one that pins him to the ground, and another cannon just fires right into him as the crowd cheers, including Franky, who has a table set up and is drinking tea as he's watching all this.
Yeah. It's God. This joke is it's such a cliche, but it got me. Just like the tea table is such a like an archetypical like Japanese slapstick comedy, and just like the way Franky is just kind of like, oh, look at him go, having a great time, and then he's just kind of, he flips the table and is just kind of like, pay attention to me.
Yeah, he's mine. I like how the girls again mimic him.
Just the setup of just him having this just tea time out of nowhere. It's so good.
He's like, all right, you're not listening to me. I can't, it's not going to work out. So I'm going to connect their set where it seems to form this pipe between his arms. And that's when we get somebody screaming out, he's just used that thing to knock down a huge crane, which explains that.
Oh, yeah, because we didn't see that. We didn't see how it got down. And now we're seeing this is how he did it.
As he explains, it doesn't shoot shells. It fires air bullets that hit faster than a hurricane. And you see his arms like blow up even more before screaming out Crude event. And wow.
Yeah, that spread is just, and just like, I love the way that like you can see like the air growing through, and like how all of the space around Franky is like blank. And then you just see all of like the smoke and the clouds like shooting straight through the debris.
Mm-hmm.
It's impressive.
Oh yeah. I don't think we've seen this many powerful characters all together like this in a long time.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, if it wasn't... It's like, I love the Galley-La guys, and it's... Like, if it weren't for the fact that the situation is just, like, so dire, it's like, man, these guys are... Like watching them all fight is really cool, but it's just like, damn, they're all having a team up against Luffy.
Sure. And just...
Yeah.
Wow. Paul is like, I was knocked away. Another crane's coming down. And this is also what's interesting. Even though it's like the pride and all that, Franky's like, ha, bring it down. Crush this whole shipbuilding dock. He does not care.
Burn it all down.
So, yeah, definitely one that's not really with the town. That's maybe goes a little bit to explain why he's a bit of an outcast.
Yeah, Franky is just here to cause chaos. And he's really good at it.
Yeah, he is. And Nami's immediately like, where did he get the technology? What is he? It's like,
yeah, what is he?
Got me freeze, but whatever. Yeah. So whatever. But that's when Luffy shows up, grabs Nami's like, okay, we're out of here. And jumps away. And we just see the aftermath, and just the entirety of Dock 1 is just crumbled.
Wow. Yeah. I love the shot at Franky here. The girls ask if they're going to go after them. He's like, well, the Coupe de Vent used up all my fuel, and now his pompadour's all limp. Like, yeah, what is he?
I guess that's his gas tank, his pompadour. He's like, well, I'll erase him next time I refuel, because he's just what I expect from a man with 100 million bounty. Got guts. So kind of actually earned Franky's respect a little bit in this skirmish.
Not how I thought this would go.
And Lulu, with the understatement of the century, the whole day has been insane.
Yeah.
Yep. And Polly just taking shore. So charge saying, can't let him get away. Aqua Laguna is going to be here. There's only 2 last G trains leaving, so they'll have no way to get off the island. So they're not in the boat they arrived in. There's no way for them to escape in it because it's going to sink. So post them everybody around. We're going to capture them. There's no way they can escape because of Aqua Laguna, which shows the purpose of that storm is just to make it crushed even more between all of them.
Yeah, it's interesting how well he's like Oda's crafted the situation where they're stuck here basically. They're stuck here and they are being hunted.
Yeah, and they need a week for the log post to reset. So
yeah,
they're in trouble.
A log week.
So and as we finish that up, we see old lady Kokoro arriving in her boat.
Yeah,
we'll see what that's all about. Man, God, these chapters are fun.
They're so fun. It feels like so much happens.
Oh, it does.
in each chapter. Like this arc is packed.
Each chapter, like I can imagine as it's coming out, it's probably one of those things where each chapter is amazing and it sucks you have to wait for the next week. But my God, each chapter really does feel like it's just something is happening. Like some major progress is made.
A lot to chew on every week.
But back to Gidatsu with chapter 339, Rumors. We have the Hot Springs Inspection Squad, which, hey, includes Crude.
Yeah, good to see him.
Yeah. And we get a little bit of the peek behind the helmet where we can see the cushion.
Huh, yeah, you're right.
There is a little bit of a gap there, so...
It still seems uncomfortable and maybe impractical,
I mean...
considering that they were underwater.
True. I mean, Gidatsu's whole thing is still being kind of played up just more subtle, because everybody's like posing in front and he's turned around.
Yeah. He's just dumb. It's this whole character, his whole gimmick is just dumb.
Yeah. So we get a kind of a breakdown from Nami about why Aqua Laguna might be so dangerous.
She doesn't know about Aqua Laguna yet, does she? Like I think
they heard about it when they were heading there. I think that they were getting the warnings as they were heading to check out what Iceberg was up to in the last set of chapters.
Ah, okay, you might be right. I was thinking that this was all Nami just like from pure intuition. I was like, did she not know Aqua Laguna? And she's just like, oh, yeah, based on the weather, like, oh yeah, all this is happening. But yeah, I guess they do know. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it's kind of works more as a recap of the situation.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I was just like, damn, Nami, it's impressive that you got all that just from pure intuition.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, as she points out, the city made a name for itself as the city of water, but that's also its weakness. So. Tons of flood damage because of typhoons like this. And she's like, so what's that to us? Well, it bothers me, so I'll look into it later. So it's like, okay, we got that on hold. But the two of them have made their way to the Galley-La headquarters, and they're basically like, well, the mayor's got to be in there, but there's all these people around it. And it's like, well, no, and Luffy's like, well, I got to go talk to him. It's all like, I got to hear what's up with Robin. And explain to him that we're not trying to kill you. And Nami's just like, okay, just be extra careful. Figure out where it is. Don't make a move until you're sure the coast is clear and all that. And he's like, okay, I'm off. And he just crashes through the window.
Oh, of course.
Oh, God. Of course. And the entire thing is like, we're being attacked. He broke into the headquarters to finish the job.
That panel of him breaking through the glass window is just awesome, though.
Yeah, it is.
It looks incredible.
There's always something badass about somebody breaking through a window like that. You got to appreciate it. And I love how Oda plays it subtle here. Instead of Nami freaking out, she's by herself, so it's just silence.
It's just yeah. That's all you can do at this point.
Yep. It's like, that's Luffy. And yeah, chase throughout the entire headquarters. And Caulifla actually explains to Iceberg that's like, yeah, Luffy has broken into the mansion. He's like, okay, I've got a favor to ask. And all the while he's running around trying to find where this is, which just gives me flashbacks when he was searching for Zoro's swords.
Oh yeah,
all the way back.
And like I remembered this happening. I guess maybe because of my memories of the anime. Like this is, I mean, it's basically like half a page.
Yeah, just running all around until Khalifa actually calls out to him and seems to lead him away. And they're like, "Hey, has the pirate been here?" Nope, and he's still resting. So keep quiet. So they're like, they all disperse. And turns out Iceberg wanted to actually speak with Luffy.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you saved me by calling me here. And he's like, yeah, I doubt you'd walk into an angry mob alone just to kill me. Because it's like, yeah, I want to know the real story. And
Iceberg's kind of a boss.
Oh, yeah. He's like, yeah, I saw Nico Robin with my own eyes. She's one of your crew. That's the truth. But how can you be sure? It's like, shut your mouth. I don't have the energy
Pulls out the Glock. Yeah, he's just not. Iceberg's not messing around.
Yeah, has a pistol drawn. Not that would do anything because he doesn't know, but yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, I have a favor. I want to see Nico Robin one more time. And he's like, I don't know where she is.
Yeah.
And he just shoots.
Yeah.
Luffy runs off, and Iceberg's just like, I gambled on a silly little hope, and I could get closer to the truth. And it's like, what is the connection?
What is happening?
And what is he hiding?
Yeah. God, what what is happening?
Yeah, those are the big questions here. And with Luffy looking out over the company again, they're just calling out, capture the crew, every one of them. Nami's asking about what Luffy found out, and it's like, why would Robin do such a thing? And Luffy's still like, I don't believe it. He's just completely convinced.
I find it really interesting. I feel like you would think in another story, like the whole mystery of like, oh, we have to get to Iceberg to find out the truth. Like I feel like that would be normally like really dragged out. You know, like there would be a whole sequence of, like multiple chapters of Luffy trying to get to Iceberg just so that they can like sit down and have a conversation. But it's interesting that Oda decides, no, we're just gonna have them talk and then leave, and then like that is enough for like Luffy to just see like, I don't believe it.
It's a testament to the pacing. The pacing of this is so rapid fire. Things are happening constantly, but it doesn't feel rushed.
Exactly.
Either. It's just enough that you're getting details, but you're also moving the story forward. And like we have this whole scene here that seems more character based. We're just getting a little bit better sense of Franky. We meet a new character named Bluto, who I just think it feels like a reference to Bluto from Popeye, but who knows? But yeah, he runs this bar, and hey, here's Kokoro. And we have just the odd visual of Franky opening up his stomach and revealing 3 bottles, and we find out the fuel that he uses is cola.
Which is, I feel like it's such a dumb thing that Oda doesn't linger on it, but you're just kind of like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just like, all right, fill me up. You're like, huh? What?
And instead, we get it's more focused on the jokes about like, you got any money for that? It's like trying to take money from your customers. It's a wonder you stay in business, which is just a wonderful line.
That's a great line. Yeah.
The one girl says, oh, we've got some change left from shopping. 1 million berries. What? We have that much left? That's disgraceful to think I have money left over. Hey, drink all you want. It's on me. He's like, it is no wonder they could not save up to 200 million berries if that's how he treats money.
Sense. I now understand why Franky is always broke.
Yep. And I love how they're like, thank you, the real boss of Water 7. But then we got Kokoro kind of laughing at him. He's like, oh, God, you're here. I thought you were a grotesque statue.
I love the idea that like they're drinking buddies, basically.
Yeah, drinking buddies, and all the while her granddaughter's here. It's like, hey, can I get another juice? It's like, this is a bar. It's no place for kids. Go away. And meanwhile, she actually does get the juice. It's just he's like, yeah, I've got money, but it feels lousy. It's just terrible. It's been a real bummer of a week, all because of some lousy pirates. And he gets his refill, pops in his stomach cavity, and we get his super. And again, every time I see that from Franky, I just think of my friend who loves Franky, and he just does the pose and calls out super.
I think this is another one where it just the performance in the anime just makes this so much more iconic. Mm-hmm. just with the way that Franky delivers that super is just there's nothing quite like it.
Yeah, I love it. But yes, he starts talking to her now that he's recharged. He's like, what are you doing here? She's like, oh, Aqua Lagoon is coming. He's like, oh, yeah, that the wind was strong. Have you weatherproofed your house? Well, I don't have a house. Oh, well, there you go. No worries. And then she's like, I was thinking of having a drink with Iceberg, but I hear he's been shot. Then Kokoro sort of gets into some conspiracy theories. It's like, everyone's like, it's the pirates. And she's like, do you really think that?
Such an interesting scene. She feels like she lets on more, or she lets on that she knows more than what she says. She
definitely comes across as a very informed character, more so than you'd think. Like just that person definitely. That kind of knows things. Nobody really knows how to treat her, but she's respected in a way. And it's like, it sounds like you know something. So you got, spill it. And well, who's always trailing around after Iceberg? The government. So you're saying the government guy did it? He's not really the assassin type. No. Shadowy jobs are left to CP9. Know anything about them, Bluto? I've heard rumors.
That's our second mention of CP9, back from when Robin was first approached by that person in the cloak.
Yeah, that's when we first heard it. And now we get a little bit more information about it where Franky says there's no such thing as CP9. And Kokoro is like, no, it exists. It just doesn't show itself because it's a covert unit totally off the books. And he's like, why are you so cocky? You know something? He's like, no, just heard it around. He's like, that's a rumor.
Yeah, I love that. This really is like some conspiracy theory stuff happening here. Mm-hmm. It's just like, oh yeah, what if, it's like the super CIA or something.
Yeah. And we know it's real because somebody said it to Robin.
Yeah.
So it's real, and it just gives us a little idea of what the heck they're all about. A covert unit that always stays a rumor and erase people without ever being discovered. So you get mixed up with them and you're done for. So it's like, oh boy, Robin's in trouble.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think Oda trusts the reader enough to know, like, hey, that's the thing that started the whole thing with Robin. Because then it's just like, boom, right into the next scene. It's presumably Robin talking to what is presumably CP9.
Presumably, yeah. The guy from before or somebody or who knows.
Oh, no, never mind. No, he straight up says, in the name of CP9.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Not very subtle.
Yep. But she's like, you're wanted by the entire town. She's like, true. But she's just like, true. It's only, and this person is just like, it's only temporary. The important thing is tonight because you need to get into Iceberg's mansion again. Feel free to erase all evidence if things go wrong. But someone named Tom had it originally. And among his followers, only Iceberg is still living. So we will not fail in the name of CP9. Whatever happens, this is a mission for justice. And it's like, huh.
So now
what the hell is going on?
Like Robin working for the government, basically. I actually don't remember if this gets explained or how it gets explained, but it's interesting that like they basically like they broke in once and are now planning on breaking in again.
Yeah, somehow they weren't able to get what they wanted.
Yeah, and then they got caught, and at least, and I guess maybe that was that on purpose to be like, oh hey, it's Nico Robin, and now we're going to incriminate the Straw Hats.
I don't know because they want to get information from Iceberg,
right?
But they also shot him 5 times.
Yeah, that's the thing. The idea that they would break in first and then just break in again, like the next night. It's just like, oh, what? Huh. Yeah, I genuinely don't remember what's up with that.
Yeah. Huh.
And that's what's so good about this arc, man.
It just, again, so many ways it can go.
Oh.
But let's see how it does go with chapter 340, The Woman Who Brings Darkness.
Oh, and, that's ominous.
Yeah, seriously. But hey, we have Gidatsu here again. His boss has been busy, built an entire bathhouse. And
yeah, wow.
I love how we got men, women, and unexpected.
Well, so I think based on the placement, I think the unexpected baths is the name of the name of the bathhouse. So, yeah. Although I guess it could be. It's who knows?
Yeah, hard to say. Gotta love how Gidatsu has his own symbol as well.
Yeah,
based off his hair. It's okay. We're going somewhere. We're getting somewhere with this. I suppose.
Capitalism.
Yep.
This reminds me of Wapple's cover story, actually, about like how he got super rich.
It's amazing how similar it is to Wapple's story, except we're meeting old characters. So
yeah,
hopefully Alabasta saves this.
I was gonna say, how close is this to Alabasta that if they could be drawn, like just yeah. How long did it take? Whatever. Okay.
Yeah, you just gotta kind of go with it.
Yeah. Yep.
But into the chapter itself, Luffy is leaping down from the upper area of Water 7. Nami is screaming her head off because, well, it's a long fall, and knocks him out. And yeah, we just again have that conversation between the two, and they're just again things are just getting more and more ominous. She's like, "Let's go back to the inn because the town and the sky they're both stirred up," and I love this. I just love this again, getting those Jurassic Park feelings, but just things are getting bad. And
the weather is getting worse.
The docks are the evacuation centers, except for number 1. There's somebody sealing their house with an iron door so it doesn't get flooded. And all the while, they're still looking for Luffy's crew. And we get some information at the Blue Station. The afternoon sea train Puffing Tom, which, we got to name Tom again, is departing for St. Poplar at 1. And all passengers now have to show their faces, so no masks are allowed.
I assume that is to try to catch the Straw Hats, right?
Yes, I believe that's the case. And it's just like all these things are starting to go into motion. It really feels like looks like we're in the afternoon now. And all the while, Zoro is like, "Oh God, they're after me." So
right? Like
looks
what?
Like they think they're like, apparently they think we're assassins, and I can't go back to the inn. So the only faces they know are mine, Luffy's, and Robin's. So we just gotta be careful with that. But again, they're on the run. It's so interesting, and they're at the inn. They're wondering about what it's all about. They're like, well, they left all their stuff in their room, so maybe they'll come back for it. So they go back to they go to the Cape. Go to the Mary. They're on the Mary, and Usopp saw them coming, abandoned ship, and is ready to fight. It's like, what the heck is going on? Like, Usopp has no idea what's happening.
Oh, that's tits.
Yeah, we are separated. We are fractured. Everybody's on the run.
Yeah,
except for really Sanji and Chopper,
because hey, they don't have wanted posters, so they're able to just kind of walk around freely.
Yeah, because they're actually saying it's like we got to find one of them and squeeze the rest of their crew out from them, and it's just like sheesh. And Sanji's just he's in the mode that I kind of love him in. I think where he works best, kind of investigator Mr. Prince mode.
Yeah. No, this is some peak Sanji stuff here.
Yeah, I had a revelation. This is when Sanji's at his best, because it doesn't even especially do anything in particular here, but he's away from the others, not really known, but using that to his advantage to just get information.
Yeah, exactly.
We find out there was the one train leaving at 1, and then one more tonight. It leaves this terrible weather for a place called Enos Lobby at 11. It's like, maybe she boarded a sea train. Well, if she did, then we're really in trouble. If we have to try to find her among other islands. And, they're just trying to find it, and they're just like, things are a little dicey, so let's just try to find everybody. And as they're going around, they finally spot Robin.
Yeah, wow, just out in the open.
Yeah, just waiting there. And they start calling out to her, and it's like, hey, all right, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. We got to go back to the inn, so we'll tell you all about it. And she's like, no, don't bother. I'm not going back to the crew.
Oof. And there are those words.
Yep. This is where we part ways, and it's like, wait, are you worried about the newspaper thing? Don't worry, none of us believe it. We're always getting false, pirates always get falsely accused of anything that bad happens. He's like, yeah, I'm sorry you were, linked to that whole thing, but there's no lies about me in the article. I was definitely the one who entered the mayor's mansion. Which I like how she pointedly says, I was the one who entered the mayor's mansion, not the one who shot Iceberg.
Yeah, that is an interesting wording.
She's definitely being coerced. You can just feel it. But how is the big question?
Yeah, and there's definitely I mean, her words here on the next page. She says that there's a darkness in me that you and the crew do not know, a darkness that will someday destroy you. And it feels like she has resigned herself to this. And
she's even saying, it's like, it's convenient that the locals are after you because it'll help me escape. And things will only get worse from here on out. It's just like, oh my God, it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
And Sanji's just like, why would you do that? And there's no need for you to know. Sanji's just calling to her. She's like, come back with us. It does not matter. And she says, well, just leave this message with the others. I didn't deserve your kindness, but thank you. And just says goodbye and walks off. And Sanji's like, nobody's going to be okay with this, and tries to swim after her. But it's too late. He loses sight, and all right, we got to break down what's going on. So we got to meet up with Luffy and the others and tell them everything. Well, Chopper has to meet up with the others and tell them everything, because it's time for Sanji to get investigative around here. It's like, I'm going to go around for my own for a little. It's like, ooh.
He's going rogue. Yep.
I think that's what makes him so great. He's different from Zoro, who's just sort of strong. Sanji is strong, but also investigative, as we said. And that's he might not get the standout fights that Zoro does, but these moments are where he really stands out.
The ways where he contributes like this are really, they're just very memorable and very cool.
Yeah. So, we got more of the townsfolk just searching. Like there are so many people all around. It feels oppressive just how many people there are.
Yeah.
But Luffy is hiding under the bridge while Zoro and Nami sit on top of him.
This was kind of a bleak chapter, so I appreciate the scene.
Him hanging on the bridge with his toes.
and then you get the chopper jump scare on the next page.
Yeah. Sends them all into the water. And Chopper explains, they found you through your scent. They basically found a rooftop to hang out on for now. Yeah. And basically it's like, all right, we're all after getting chased, and Chopper relays the message of what Robin said. And Zoro just says, we should have been ready. Regardless of the circumstances, Robin first showed up as an enemy and we let her on the ship. If she's suddenly frightened by that and has run off, and then I'm not going to feel right about it. But the question is she an enemy or friend? And that's how we end.
Oh boy. Oh, what a cliffhanger.
I know, right?
We're just finding out more and more about whatever Robin's doing, and just we're trying to even the poor Straw Hats are just like, all right, what do we do with her?
Yeah.
And what do we do about this? Just this situation that she's kind of flung everybody into.
She's saying all these things. We don't know what's going on. It's mystery on top of mystery. We're down to a crew of 5, really.
Yeah, seriously.
I love it. It's so good. It's so compelling.
And like I mentioned earlier in the show, like it's just I am surprised at how well paced it is, and it is constantly moving, but it doesn't feel too fast, or it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel incomprehensible. It feels like we are learning what we need to know as soon as we need to know it, and that there are so many different moving parts to this story that there's always something new like to do, and there's kind of more to discover.
Yeah, and the great thing about it, even more so, is that he's always dropping hints about the future.
Yeah, and even now, like again, if you're imagined like reading this week to week, or even binging it, just kind of like the things that get mentioned offhand, I feel like you're rewarded for noticing in a way that, and he just look. There's just so many things. I feel like there are some I didn't even point out just because I didn't even want to hint to it.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be interesting because when we get to the new chapters that I have not read, I don't have that advantage anymore of like.
Yeah.
I have to start like really like we're going to be really reading into just every line he says.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh boy.
Oh,
man.
Jeez, man. Yep.
Can't wait to keep reading.
Whew, it's a really good set of chapters this week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll just keep getting into it.
Indeed. But with that, I believe we've said all we've wanted to say about chapters 336 to 340 of One Piece. Thank you so much for listening, and you can find more of my ramblings and stream VODs over at BitNerd Games on YouTube, or BitNerd with an underscore at the end on Twitter. And Brandon, where can everyone find you at?
I'm at Brandon Bovia on Twitter, talking about anime, manga, games, and my job. Not a whole lot else to add to that this week.
No worries. And if you'd like to help us out more, you can support the podcast over at patreon.com/Derek Bittner. That's DERRICKBITNER to listen to the next episode 3 days early. And make sure to return next time as we discuss chapters 341 to 345 of One Piece. So until then, my friends, bye.
Remember to take life one piece at a time.
Show no mercy to the monsters who attacked our mayor. Capture the Straw Hat Pirates no matter what it takes!